Clawson, Michigan, that little city with the big heart. The place is near and dear to me. I'm going to tell you why. Here are the 5 things that you need to know before you move to Clawson, Michigan. Let's get into it. If you're new to this channel, guys, my name is Werenka. I'm the broker owner here at M1 Realty. Started this company in 2014. It was me and a laptop on the 3rd floor of an office building. Today, we're the #1 firm in Ferndale, Michigan, and I've got an all-star team of agents. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, invest, rent, whatever you need, we got you covered. But enough about me. We're here to talk about Clawson, so let's do that. So Clawson itself is a very small city. It's only 2.02 square miles, and it only has a population of just over 11,000 people. So not the biggest city by far in the Metro Detroit area. It's actually one of the smaller cities in the Metro Detroit area, but they pack a lot of great things into that 2.2 square miles. So let's talk about it. The first thing I want to talk about when considering a move to Clawson, Michigan is cost of living. The #1 thing of cost of living obviously is home prices. So the average home that sold in Clawson in the month of September 2022 was $284,000. Just like everywhere in Metro Detroit and everywhere nationally, over the past couple years, home prices have spiked quite a bit. And in Clawson, it seems like it's sort of leveled out a little bit at this point, but you know, we're still looking at pretty substantial year-over-year increases, which is typical for the area. But when considering all the cities across the United States, Clawson is actually relatively affordable. It only comes in at 81.3% of the national average in terms of home price. And it's obvious why I always start with home prices. I mean, I'm a realtor, there you go, that makes sense. But obviously that is not the only factor that goes into cost of living. So let's talk about some more. When it comes to healthcare, Clawson's in a pretty good position. We're actually at 79.9% of the national average for healthcare expenses. And you got plenty of major hospitals, level 1 trauma centers. You got Royal Oak Beaumont just a couple miles to the southwest. You got Troy Beaumont to the north. And you know, there's easy access to all kinds of different medical facilities in the city of Clawson. And when it comes to groceries, Clawson's a little bit below the national average. It's creeping up a little bit. But as far as grocery prices, Clawson is at 96.4% of the national average. The state of Michigan as a whole is 93.4% of national average, so Clawson's a little bit higher than the state of Michigan as a whole, but still below the national average. Now, Clawson is above national average when it comes to transportation costs. We're at 110.9% of the national average for cost of transportation. And the average income in Clawson is actually $35,478, which is 12.2% above the national average. So in general, it's a relatively affordable place to live and work and play. #2, types of living. For being such a small city, there's actually a pretty wide variety of homes, condos, apartments to live in Clawson. Now, 77% of the housing units in Clawson are single family, meaning 33 are multifamily of one shape, type, or form. Now, there's everything from tiny little 2-bedroom homes. I've sold plenty of those in my day. And actually, the largest home that sold in the last calendar year in Clawson was a 4-bed, 2.5-bath home that was 2,867 square feet. So we've got plenty of houses that are like 600, 700 square feet, all the way up to that 2,800 square footage point. There's even a pretty strong rental market in Clawson for single family homes. There's even a few Airbnbs. There's starting to be more. As of right now, there's 5 active Airbnbs in the city. I wouldn't be surprised to see that number double or triple over the next couple of years. Now, the prices on those Airbnbs kind of run the gamut, but the average price per night for the Airbnbs in Clawson is $140 a night. So pretty affordable considering you know, the price range of Airbnbs. I've stayed at them all over the country, and for a private home to stay in on a short-term basis, $140 a night is pretty darn good. Now, the one thing that Clawson doesn't have a whole lot of is vacant land. So there's not much for builders to build on. There's going to be more here now that the school bond passed. I'll talk about that in a minute. But if you're looking to like develop a subdivision or, you know, build new construction, it's a little bit more difficult. In fact, most of the new construction homes are just infill. Like they buy a cheap house that's run down, tear it down, build a new house on that lot. So it's not uncommon when you're driving down the streets in Clawson to see, you know, older homes. There's homes from the 20s, homes from the 40s and 50s, new construction, and they're all kind of next to each other. So it's kind of a unique area in that regard. But I think it's really cool because there's kind of something for everybody. No matter what you're looking for, you should be able to find it in Clawson. Number 3, traffic. I know this is everybody's favorite topic. All things considered, the traffic in the Metro Detroit area is not terrible. I used to live in Phoenix, Arizona. I've traveled all over the West, all over the United States, and I'll take Detroit traffic over LA, San Francisco, New York, Philly, any day of the week. And Clawson's far enough away from downtown Detroit that we do have easy freeway access, but the streets themselves are typically not crazily congested. The main roads through Clawson, the main east-west road is 14 mile. You've got half the city's north of that, half is south. And on the west end of Clawson is Crooks Road. On the east end is Campbell, and basically Main Street runs right up the middle of town. Now, in recent years, they have narrowed down Main Street. They've done a road diet, which took away 2 lanes of traffic. But as it is in Ferndale, like a lot of the roads here have undergone road diets, I haven't really noticed that much of a difference in travel time. I go to Clawson every single day, pretty much at least once or twice. And coming from Ferndale to Clawson, our commute time hasn't changed at all. In fact, the average commute time for someone who lives in Clawson is 22 minutes. And obviously, a lot of that depends on where you work and where you're coming to and from, which route you're taking. But that's 16% less than the national average for a commute for people that are going to work and back. And as far as freeway access, on the north end of town, you're actually only 1.3 miles from the closest exit on I-75. And on the east side of town, you're actually only 0.8 miles away from getting on I-75 at 14 mile. And if you're looking to get east or west in a hurry, it's 3.4 miles from 696, where you'd get on right at Woodward. And of course, obviously, so much with traffic depends on time of day, depends on weather, depends on road construction, and as we all know right now, I-75 is undergoing pretty substantial road construction, but once that's done, should be smooth sailing, north, south, east, west, wherever you need to go. In Clawson, you're never that far from a freeway. You can get wherever you need to go relatively quickly in the Metro Detroit area. Number 4, family fun activities. One of the things that I personally really love about Clawson is how engaged the community is and how many activities there are for people to do, considering the small size of the city. It seems like you're never more than like a couple weeks from one activity or another, and a lot of the people in the community come out and participate. So it's really cool. It's it's like a family-oriented city, and even if you don't have kids or whatever the case may be, it's just a really a family feel within the city. Like, everybody is very friendly, and there's always stuff going on. It's really, really cool, and there's a lot of engagement from the community. A lot of the activities center around Clawson City Park, which is absolutely massive. It's just east of Shalom Elementary, and I mean, it's got to be half a mile. I mean, it's a gigantic park. So you got the football stadium and the track on one side of the parking lot, and then Clawson City Park on the other, and that just seems to be where a lot of the community congregates. It's relatively close to the center of the city, so it's pretty easy to get to for anybody that lives in Clawson or anybody that's traveling from other cities to get there as well. Now, with COVID, obviously a lot of the activities were canceled or postponed, but it seems like everything is starting to ramp back up, and this year I don't think anything has been canceled. We're shooting this in October, so this is fresh in my mind, but one of the things for fall is the trick-or-treat trail, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's a great opportunity for kids to just walk around in a safe, monitored environment, get candy, hang out with each other. It's a really good time. Clawson has a really huge 4th of July celebration. The fireworks take place at Clawson City Park as well, and I went this year, and I mean, there were thousands of people down at Clawson City Park. It was jam-packed full of people. It was a really good display. They put a lot of effort, time, and money into it, so definitely worth checking out when you're in the area on the 4th of July or close to it. Seasonally, there's also a farmer's market that takes place at Clawson City Park. Definitely worth your time to check out. Highly recommend it. There's vendors from all over the area. It's, again, just a really nice community event. Great thing to take a part in. Other events are Christmas in Clawson, which actually takes place at Clawson High School. It's kind of like a craft sale, a craft fair. So if that's your thing, handmade items, good presents, good stocking stuffers, good decorations, well worth checking out. Absolutely highly recommend that as well. And then at Christmas time, there's also the annual tree lighting, which takes place at Memorial Park, which is right across from City Hall, right north side of 14 in Maine. And then probably my favorite event, it's pretty new, it just kind of got started up, but it's getting more and more popular, is Clawson Fest, which takes place towards the end of summer. And that's a street fair that's right downtown. It's right at the corner of 14 and Main Street. Definitely worth checking out. Lots of restaurants right in that area to take a look at. Lots of vendors, food trucks, bands playing, stuff for kids. I mean, stuff for people of all ages. It's really, really cool event. So I highly recommend when that comes around next year, check it out. It is well worth your time. You will not be disappointed. And then the fifth thing that you need to know before you move to Clawson, Michigan is how well of an educated population the city has. So as I mentioned, the population of Clawson as of the 2020 census was 11,386 people. That translates to a household size of 2.02 people per household. And even though Clawson is a very family-friendly city, there's a lot of stuff for kids to do. The school system is phenomenal. It actually is a little bit on the older side demographically as far as population goes. The median age in Clawson is 40 years old, which most cities are kind of trending a little bit younger. Not a whole lot, but on average, roughly similar cities in the area are about, the median age would be about 34, 35, 36, somewhere in that range. So it's a tiny bit older, but again, it's not like a 50 and older, golf community or anything like that. There's definitely something for everybody to do in the city. And as far as education itself, 51% of the population of Clawson actually has some form of a college degree, whether that's associates, bachelor's, master's, doctorate, you name it. But that's a pretty highly educated population for that small of a city. So that's definitely has something to do with the median income, being above the national average as well. And then the school system itself is doing some really good things in my opinion. And being a parent of 4 Clawson public school students, I think I'm a pretty good authority on that. I've got a pretty vested interest in making sure that the education program there is top notch. So Clawson Public Schools spends $14,612 per student. That's 16% higher than the national average. Currently, the way that the school system is set up, there's 1 high school, 1 middle school, 2 elementary schools, and then a preschool that's in a separate building. So just about a year ago, there was actually a bond issue for the schools that did pass in the city of Clawson. And in my opinion, I know there's many opinions on if this is a good idea or a bad idea, but I think what they're trying to do, it makes a lot of sense. They're actually going to close down the 2 elementary schools and build a new elementary school that's basically going to be in between the middle school and the high school, which are right next door to each other. So you're going to have one main campus where pretty much all of the kids in the entire district will be able to go. And they've gone through great lengths to make sure that kindergartners aren't interacting with high school seniors, things like that. So they're going to keep the 3 schools separate, but just having everything in one spot just seems like a more efficient way to do things personally. And when your city's only 2 square miles, it's easy for everybody to get to. It seems silly to kind of spread things out around town. It's better to have just everything in one spot. And then the controversial part of that bond measure is basically they're going to tear down Shalom Elementary, and there's a large between the lot that school is on is pretty good size, and that more than likely is going to get developed into new construction homes. And I know not everybody's happy about that, but at the end of the day, that's going to be an opportunity for more families to move into Clawson. There's definitely more people that want to live there than there are homes to put them in, and that's going to actually, it's going to raise everybody's tax base. It's going to provide more money for the city, and it's going to raise everybody's property values because they're not putting in cheap houses. They're going to be, $500,000 homes that get built, probably $500,000 and up. So at the end of the day, I think it's going to be a win-win. It's going to be an adjustment. People are going to have to get used to it a little bit. But I think it's a smart move considering that, the school system was kind of teetering on the edge of insolvency a few years ago. There was, they had too many buildings and not enough kids to put them in, so that the operating revenue wasn't quite there to really make sense to keep the schools going. But since that bond issue passed, that's all taken care of, and I think moving forward, things are really great. There's an excellent plan in place. I'm really 100% behind it. And as always, if you have any questions about Clawson, Michigan, about the real estate market in general, or anything you guys need, you can always reach out to me. My direct line is 586-491-5622. You can also reach me at 248-561-6155. Shoot me an email, dwerenka@m1realty.net, or simply just drop a comment down below and I'll get right to you. And obviously, these 5 things are not the only 5 things you need to know about living in Clawson. There's a lot more that goes into it. They're just the top 5 things in my opinion. So I would love to know what your opinion is. Any questions you have, your comments on the city itself are always valued. So don't hesitate to reach out. I love having that conversation. And if there's ever anything else I can do for you, just say the word. And of course, if you don't mind, I'd really appreciate it if you would like this video, subscribe to this channel, and most importantly, share this video out with anybody that you think would benefit from it. That just keeps me in front of people just like you who want to know more about Clawson and the Metro Detroit real estate market. So as always, guys, thank you so much. Love doing these videos for you. Can't wait to put the next one out. And until then, have a great one, and we'll talk soon.